What's up, world? Semet Fitness here today, and we're gonna go over fasting, just like I promised. Welcome to Teachings of Semet. Let's get right into it. Fasting 101. Now, why in the world would we even want to fast? What is it? Why would we even do it, especially in the age that we live in now, where food is practically everywhere? Food is, it's like breathing air now. That's how available it is now. But we'll break down the finer details. Matter of fact, fasting is such a huge topic. I think I'm going to do 7 videos on this bad boy, because fasting is a topic that I think needs to be known of, especially because of the mental shift that happened. And now I know I'm treading on some touchy waters here, but I'll say what I have to say, and I'll say it anyhow. That's how comfortable I feel with the topic. Fasting has a certain thing with nutrition. There's food talk, there's even religion talk, and there's science talk. Fasting is one of those things that is literally everywhere. Same goes for food. Food is everywhere. It's culture, it's religion. That's even a more touchy subject than fasting. Now, to fast means abstain from solids or liquids. And there's multiple types of fasting. There is fasting with liquids, fasting with fruits, fasting from certain foods, detoxing, which detoxing and fasting, let's remove that out of the way immediately, because detoxing is like this new fad that has come out now for everybody to do. I don't know where it even started, but detoxing is just one of those things that is aesthetically pleasing to the world. You have juice detoxes, for crying out loud, and you have detoxes in juice press, juice generation. You have a detox in Equinox. You have a detox, all these weird detoxes, and I truly believe that it all stemmed off from fasting. Because what is detox? Detox is to cleanse the body. The first thing ever to have known to cleanse the body, at least to my knowledge, that has dealt way back before I was born, before you were born as a viewer or anything, was the talk of fasting. Now, I want to eliminate this out of the way right now. I personally just despise anything that is taken, something so pure, and is marketed into something like super duper sexy, super duper commercialized. I just despise that with a passion, and that's just me. I just don't like anything that's pure and original and in harmony with itself to be taken and then put into a box and packaged to be sold in a way that has to be shoved down people's throats, and looked upon as this is the way we have to do it because we made it look this way. So I'm just saying that right now, okay? So guys, understand that I am coming from that point of view, but I am gonna respect the nature of the purity of any topic that I speak of. All right, so let's get right into it. Okay. Fasting, there's a lot of things to look at. Let's think of the origin, and let's think of some etymologies and some of the words. You ever heard of the term, he's fast asleep? You're fast asleep. Quite literally, you do sleep. We all fast. No matter what happens, we all fast. Unless you don't sleep for the rest of your entire life, and I don't know, you're some kind of like the weird person, a demon or whatever, I don't know, man, whatever. If you don't fast, if you don't sleep, then you don't fast, fine. But we all do have a period of time when we are actually fasting, okay? AKA break fast, break fist, break fast. Think about that, okay? You're fast asleep, all right? Not like somebody knocked you out and you're fast asleep. No, you're fast asleep, which is leads me to my next term, sleep and fast. There's a common thing that goes around the air nowadays, that prior before sleeping you should have your stomach empty, or eat 2 hours before going to bed. There's actually some truth to this, and I'll explain why. Some people say 4 hours. It varies, depending on where you're from and what you believe in. But I've always heard 2 to 4, 2 to 6. I'm gonna break it down to what I know. All right. So 2 hours. I go with the 2 hours, especially if you are gonna, especially if you are that type of person who really schedules themselves when they eat, what they do, when they go to work. You're on a routine. 2 hours is actually pretty solid. And if you are gonna eat anything at nighttime, you should make it a light meal. There is a quick little philosophy for those out there that are interested in losing weight, because I know fasting is one of those things that are you magically lose weight. Let's get right into it. The first things first. Fasting, the philosophy or the theory is eat like a king for breakfast, eat like a prince or princess for lunch, and then eat like a pauper or like a peasant for your dinner. Now, there's some truth to that. I don't really like the terminology behind it. I also don't like kind of how some of the wording is. But I'll get right into it. The last meal of the day you should actually be light, in my opinion. It makes your digestion easier. You want to have a nice, easy stomach before going to bed. You never want to feel bloated before going to bed either. So I personally think that you have to earn your breakfast. So break your fast a little early, a little more later in the day, and by eating like a king, totally up to you on how your viewpoint is on breakfast. Even if you're an athlete or some bodybuilder, I really don't care. I think one of the most important things that you should do once you break your fast is to hydrate yourself properly with warm water, water and lime. Some people go with apple cider vinegar. Some people say tea. Some people say coconut water because it's like an internal shower. Water. Sometimes we just need to like calm down with all the fancy things and the fancy terms. I think water, hands down, is like the number one thing that you can do to break your fast. Because once you drink water, it makes digestion for everything else easier. And then once you put a solid into your mouth after the water, that'll just go down way more better than just eating it without the water in the first place. So the next thing that stems off from that with the whole sleeping and the whole 2-hour thing is you want to make sure that last meal that you have is something light, like fruits, a smoothie, a light salad. You don't have to go heavy. This goes especially for the people who are on their casein protein. I'm gonna drink casein protein because it's slow digestive at night. Forget that nonsense, okay? I'm also not all up for the supplements that are out there. There are good supplements, just not all these commercial brand things, okay? I hope that kind of made sense in a quick little thought process. There are other types of fasting as well, like I mentioned before. All right here, I'll give 2 examples. We have 40 days and 40 nights. My handwriting may be a little sloppy there, but 40 days and 40 nights. We have religious fasting. We have the winter and the summer solstice. Nature's way of telling you to fast. Nature tells you to fast when you sleep anyways. So that's number one. The winter and the summer solstice. The summer solstice when the summer is at its when the sun is at its highest peak. That's the summer solstice, and that's like nature in a way telling you to fast. This actually, I believe, stemmed from Africa. It's fasting by nature. That's pretty much it for the multiple types of fasting. Like I said before, there's other various ways, but this is just a little history thing. You can look up 40 days, 40 nights. You can look up the winter and the summer solstice. You can even look up how the Arabians and the Muslims fast. I believe it's called Ramadan. I don't know. There's like so many different types of things, of ways of fasting, so many viewpoints of it. But I want to kind of get away from the whole religious talk. Let's pinpoint to the fact of the matter is that anatomy and physiology is the same. So that is where we're going to get into right now. Why should we fast? And then I'm going to get into the myths and the fears of that. Why should we fast? The first point is right here. Curative. There is a curative property towards fasting, okay? And you see I have mucus, congestion, and toxins. Indeed, there is a curative way of fasting. The first thing that you have to understand is to fast means to abstain from food. You have to put this into perspective, okay? We now live in cities. We now live in urban cultures. We live in areas, like I said, where food is very accessible, okay? Just really think about how much food you really need to eat. I mean, you don't really need to stuff your face as much as you think or snack as much as you think. America is, I think, the most obese country out right now. I think second to London and whatnot, and England, whatever, the UK. The point is that be grateful for what you have, and you know, you have food all around you, which is cool. It wasn't always like that. And that habit, this is the main thing, because it's in the mindset. The habit of eating and snacking 24/7 is very finicky. Even if it is upon your own doing, or if it's not on your own doing, to snack like a madman, I think is counterintuitive to the way the digestive system was built. Especially if you're snacking on garbage and junk. That's just because you have to put this into perspective. If all of this at the end of the day is about internal healing, then that actually shoves a lot of what we've been thrown into society in our eyes as a lie. That's like my first myth. My first myth and fear, myth number one, being that, you know, you have to eat a lot to be healthy. That's a crock of BS. Why? Because I know a lot of people, especially in Spanish communities, that say, yo, you gotta eat a lot, you have to eat a lot. Bodybuilding communities, eat big, get big. Eat big, get big. You'll definitely get big. Yeah, you'll turn into a butterball. Just look at the bodybuilding today. The bodybuilding today is very, very weird, right? They have these pregnant bellies, and just look it up. You don't gotta really believe me. Just look it up yourself. The proof is in the pudding. Eat big, get big is probably my most not favorite myth, because this tells many people that in order to look a certain way, you have to eat a certain way, and that normally leads to the whole aesthetic thing that I was talking about. So put this into perspective, just like I was saying before, the whole aesthetic thing and the way our minds shift, the mindset is here in this lifetime now, needs to be shifted into a different perspective. Put it this way: do you want to be healthy, or do you want to be big? And big could mean muscular, or big could mean fat. But do you want to give up a big, muscular, sexy look? Like, if you want that, fine, that's all you. Just, I hope you're doing it in a healthy way, that your digestive system is intact. Because remember, no matter how muscular you are and how big you are, that does not constitute health. Matter of fact, what constitutes real health is breathing. How well can you intake oxygen, which is the number one nutrient in the whole entire world? All right, we talk about food, we talk about drinks and supplements, and paleo diet and veganism and blah 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 blah. Breathing, you can't go very long without that. So that's the number one nutrient in the first place. So I'm not a big fan of eat big, get big, eat a lot to be healthy. You know, all of this is about maintenance and self-control of yourself. So yeah, there is, I'll go back to it. So yeah, there is a curative factor. The first curative factor is you give your system, your stomach, a chance to breathe. You give it a chance to do its craft, to do its work. Your body is all about survival system. No matter what happens, your body's all like, okay, you gave me this, now I gotta figure out a way how to deal with it. I'm either gonna turn it into gas, it's either gonna sit in the bowel system, it's gonna go into the colon, and maybe if it's garbage, the colon is gonna have to release some type of mucus. Yes, you do have mucus in your body, and your colon does release mucus in order to fight off certain toxins. But what happens when you get sick? Too much mucus in the system, too much imbalance of certain things. That's another talk for another discussion, and I will get there, but this is about fasting. But fasting does help that big time. Toxins and congestion. Mucus and congestion are actually correlated together. Congestion just being another form of like sickness. Toxins should be considered anything that goes inside the body that has absolutely no nutritional factor whatsoever, and it just goes against you. That's a toxin, in my opinion, and then it just wreaks havoc inside of you, especially if your body doesn't know how to handle it. The next one, I've already spoken about digestion, but I'll reiterate, digestion is so important. I really don't care what kind of lifestyle you have or what you think may be right. Your system will always tell you the truth. Put this into your mindset right now. Just because it tastes good does not mean it's good for you. You know, we like to eat with our eyes, and our nose. Mama's baked pie or whatever. And that may not be good for you, you know. Actually, it just won't be. Refined sugars, refined starch and carbohydrates, white flour, it'll impair your digestion. And digestion, bowel care, and colon health are the number one thing to take care of. Of course, with the breathing, like I said, fasting will aid you in your digestive system. The body is meant to stay light. You know, think about it. If you're a heavy bulldozing truck, how functional are you? There are some people who can't even move, for crying out loud. They're just so damn immobilized because of how big their stomachs are. You know, there are some people I've seen who have gotten, I know it sounds weird, but metabolic damage, and next thing you know, you're popped up on pills and all types of things that you can't even pronounce, and that will forever give you a bloated belly. You're concerned about a bloated belly and stomach fat? Look at your digestion, because you might just have a shit baby inside of you. The next one, think. This is correlated with the same exact thing as you're going to starve. Complete nonsense that you're gonna starve in a fasting diet. You're not gonna die. You can go, 30 days without eating. I've seen it. I've personally seen that. I know gurus and Indian fellows and people from all different countries, Arabian folks, Chinese people, Russians. I know so many people that have actually fasted, and believe you me, the way they come out of it, they're like superhumans. I personally have fasted for 5 days in a row. The only thing I did was drink water. That was it. You will not starve. And this is why I say think. Because you have to think about just how much food do you really need to eat. Especially if you're somebody who's going to get into a fast, like right now, and you have absolutely like no idea, no knowledge about digestion system or colon health or how long it takes to actually like something to process throughout the body. You probably already have food that you can survive off of for an extremely long time. Believe you me, I'm telling you right now, you need to think very strong about how much food is actually in your system, because how much do you really need to eat in a day? You know, there's a lot of gluttony that's going on and we don't even think about it, but because of so many things like, oh, I went through a nice trial and error, so I deserve this cake. No. Just think about how much you really need to eat. You don't really need to stuff your face 8 times a day, 5 times a day. You know, especially if you're eating right, you'll be fine. But this is also the most challenging, because once you do commence a fast, what happens? You just start eating. You'll think about eating a lot. Why is this? Because for the first time, you're consciously actually like straining yourself, like abstaining from something. Think about it. How many times you just ate for absolutely no reason, or you ate because you were bored, or you ate because it was TV time and you sat down on the floor and you ate? Like, just think about that. You know, earn your plate. That is what I have to say about that. So let's go over these myths, which are complete nonsense. Eat a lot to be healthy. That's like nonsense. Okay, you do not eat a lot. You do not need to eat a lot to be healthy. It's like saying, it's like the same exact concept. Drinking. If you drink too much, obviously you're gonna feel like crap. Don't eat too much. You ever felt the itis before? Why you feel so sleepy after eating? Why is your stomach so damn heavy that you can't even like take a walk afterwards, or sprint, or go help your mom grocery shopping or something, or whatever it may be? To me, that's a false. Eat less, but eat the best. Eat less, eat the best. Eat the best things that'll give you, in good quantities, that'll give you great energy, great fulfillment. And I don't mean full in your system. I mean fulfillment, that you actually feel good after you ate the food, and you know, you're not like farting 1,000 times or crapping yourself in your pants. Eat big to get big. Again, I don't care about the whole aesthetic look, big guy kind of thing, or you know, I have to eat a certain way so that I can get to this like weight class thing or whatever it may be, because just, you know, it's like forcing you in a way to eat in a way that you don't have to. You know, it's just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But if that's competition, you know, that's your thing. I personally think competition is one of the most unhealthiest things. I am a firm believer. I do think that athletes, anybody that gets into a form of competition to a certain degree is a little unhealthy, and that's another thing. But of course, you have to pinpoint it to individuals, so just leave it there. Starving. You will not starve, okay? And this is another thing also. Your body is not going to eat itself, okay? I got to get rid of that out of the way right now. Your body's not going to eat itself. And also, don't just starve because you think it's your ticket to fat loss. Don't do that. Don't have that mindset. Yes, okay, it will help you with weight loss, but there's so much more benefits. Think about the discipline, the thinking that you're going to gain. Like, you can actually say no to things. Do you say yes because your friends are eating a turkey and you're going to eat a turkey, and then they eat a cake, and then they eat some onions, and then there's rice and beans, and that makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's just tradition and culture that is put onto you. You need to learn who you are, and that takes some serious detective work. Don't just eat because your environment is eating what they're eating, or don't just do what the environment is doing. You know, think for yourself. Take things down to the smallest detail and then work with it from there. And yeah, this whole idea of starving, that your body is eating itself, that actually, believe it or not, came from a European mythology. And the mindset back then was, oh man, like if you take something from me, I gotta take something from you, or something is attacking me, I have to attack it, or something is happening in my system, therefore I must do something to, you know, to counteract it. You've heard of the term, hey, what's eating at you? What's eating you alive? Well, it's a European mythology, and to me, you don't even really got to get that scientific about it. That's like equivalent to saying, my ship is sinking, therefore I have to start throwing everybody off board so that I can have less weight. Or, you know, or there's a hole on the wall, and therefore I have to break the other holes on the wall just to make that wall look better. You know what I mean? But that actually started from European mythology. And the next thing that I'll go over in fasting 201, we're going to talk a lot more about digestion. We're going to go over herbs. And I'm also going to talk more about the mindset and the shifting of the mindset. We're also going to learn how to start a fast. And we're going to learn how to even come off of a fast. 301 will even be about how to work with multiple different types of fasting, and also habits that'll help you with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of fasting. I didn't write as much as I normally do, but I did talk a lot. I do feel like this is something that needs to get out there. I don't want to be that guy that's gonna make this into something. I'm not gonna package this into some deal and then commercialize it for you guys. I'm gonna give you guys some good information. But if you do want to know about your own personal types of fasting and how you want to work on it, shoot me an email. I will definitely guide you through those things because I've been through fast. I personally fast once a month, and I always break my fast in a certain manner. I also go into the fast in a certain manner. Of course, that takes thinking, that takes discipline, and I've already built that foundation for myself. If you want some little tips on that, do feel free to email me. Do feel free to drop a comment below. But please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for fasting 201. All right? Peace.